We're hunting out west, and me and my buddy, we'd only hunted one other time before this. It gets down to the second to last day, and this bear, we spot him at like 1,000 yards. He comes running from about 1,000 yards and stops at 175. But he's in such thick oak brush, I couldn't get a rest. So I shot right over top of his back, and he takes off uphill. I jump this little fence, and I'm looking out in this distance for the bear to be running across the opening. And my buddy, who's right behind me, goes, "He's right there." I'm looking still, and I can't see him. Next thing you know, this brush is moving, and he's 15 yards in front of me at a full blown charge. I go to close the bolt on my rifle, and my rifle jams.
Grab your gear, find your stand, and listen in as we share another journey that shapes a hunter's legacy.
Here we go again, back at it for another episode of A Hunter's Legacy, the only podcast that ditches the pros for the average Joes. This week we got Kendall from Colorado. What's going on, man?
How's it going, sir?
Oh, it's going, man. So, good to have you on here. You been in Colorado your whole life?
No, I was actually born in Florida.
Really?
Yep.
And how'd you end up in Colorado?
When I was about 10, my dad got a job up here and moved up here.
Okay. Would you rather be in Colorado or Florida?
Colorado, 100%.
Why so?
My family always said I was Florida born with a Colorado soul, mountain soul.
Why do they say that?
Oh, I was addicted to hunting at such a young age and climbing the biggest trees and getting as high as I can, just doing everything I could.
Okay, so you've been in Colorado since you were 10. Tell me a little bit about yourself, what you do outside of the woods and all that good stuff.
So I'm currently a security guard. Work about 40 hours a week doing that. Then I do a lot of fishing, but mainly sticking with hunting and fishing is what I do.
Okay. Did you do much before you were in Florida?
Fishing a ton of. I lived right on the canal, so every day after school I'd strip my shoes off, strip into a pair of shorts, and fish right off the back deck.
What do you mean canal?
So it's a man-made. It's like a river that runs right past your house.
Is that for like flooding control?
I don't know too much about it. I was such a young age when I moved up here to Colorado, but it was mainly just waterways to be able to move water and put them places where they could be, where they needed it.
Were there a lot of alligators in there?
Oh yeah, we had a 13-footer taken out right behind my house.
Really?
Yep.
I suppose at 10 years old, you probably weren't ready to wrestle one that big, right?
Oh, I would have if they let me.
I don't know if you would have fared too well at that age.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't have fared well, but it would have been fun.
All right, so you're in Colorado. How old are you?
I'm 25. So,
25. Still pretty young, man.
yeah, a lot of life lessons and stuff to learn.
Cool deal. So I always like to start off by kind of getting a good idea of where it all started. So you said you're in Florida till you're about 10 and primarily fishing. Did you do any hunting in Florida?
No, I got Red Ryder BB guns and stuff like that, but I'm first generation American. My family's from England.
Really?
Yeah, my family's from England. Hunting was never a big thing. It was always taboo, especially with guns and stuff. So it was weird for me to get into it and learn.
What do you mean it's taboo? Like they didn't like it? Or is that part of the world where it's really expensive to get into hunting?
It's a little bit of both, but it was mainly they were scared of guns and didn't know, they thought guns were bad before I came along. They've only ever heard bad news about guns, especially murder and stuff like that, and they're banned or very hard to get over in England. So they'd never been around them before I came along.
That's very interesting. So how old were your parents when they came over?
Oh, I think 40 when they came over.
Were you born here?
So I was born in Florida, and the people I call my parents are actually my grandparents.
Okay. Then your grandparents moved to Colorado?
Yep. So they first moved to New York, then down to Florida, and then back up here to Colorado.
Man, you could be living in New York right now.
No, thank you. I don't want to be there.
So how did all this get started?
So I was always addicted to shark fishing shows on TV. And one day after my shark fishing show went off, Territories Wild with Tom Miranda popped on, the bow hunting show. And I thought, that's awesome. He explained conservation to me, and it made me immediately want to get into hunting. Asked for my first bow and gun that year for Christmas.
Which ones did you get?
I didn't get any. I got an old. Well, sorry, I take that back. I got a little recurve from my great grandpa.
Okay. So you got a recurve. How old were you when you got the recurve?
Oh, I was probably 6.
Did it have suction cups on the end of it?
No, actually, it was one of those old fiberglass like um bear bows or Indian bows, and it had no arrows, an old string, and all I did was go to Home Depot, pick up some wooden dowels, and just start flinging them across the yard.
Probably not quite where you need to be to start putting some animals down.
No, no, but I didn't do that till I moved here to Colorado.
Were you pretty consistent about shooting your bow, or is it just something you picked up a couple times a year?
When I was doing that, when I first got my first bow, it was just shoot it when I had a chance to shoot it. Just fling those wooden dowels with a sharpened point, and that'd be about it.
Okay. So anybody in your family hunt at all?
No, I'm the only hunter in my entire family.
I can see how that presented some challenges. You started off with the recurve bow,
hmm
the Red Rider of archery, and you played around with that for quite a while. What was the next step?
I did eventually get a Red Ryder BB gun and just practice with that. Shot little fish in the canal in the river behind the house.
That's illegal, man.
I was 6 and 7 years old, so didn't know too much. Little shad about that big.
Throw you in jail at 6.
Maybe, yeah.
You want to scare your nieces and nephews away, or my nieces and nephews away. Okay, started with the Red Rider, 6, 8 years old. How did it progress to where you're at now?
So then there was a big gap in between when I got my Red Ryder, then I moved to Colorado in 2011. And I went through all the hunter safety courses and all of that and was gifted a Marlin #1 22 single shot. And I was hooked on it for Christmas when I was, yeah, 11.
Well, that's nice that your family is still buying you guns, even though they weren't really into the hunting and whatnot.
So what ended up happening was my dad got a work colleague that was huge into hunting at the time. He didn't have any sons and he only had one daughter that didn't like hunting. So he handed them down to me and taught me how to hunt.
Okay. How old were you when you finally got to go out and start hunting?
I was 11.
11? And how'd that go down?
So I went out to a family friend's farm that was having a problem with prairie dogs, and they found out I was looking to get into hunting. And they just asked me to shoot a couple prairie dogs while running around and even shoot a couple cottontails.
When you're 11?
Yep. Get 50 cents a tail for them.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you remember about those hunts?
Oh, especially my first one. That was the big one because I'd never killed anything before. I remember belly crawling like this with my rifle out in front of me and getting with, I think it was like 75 yards for my first shot, open sights with a 22. And I rolled this prairie dog over.
Was it a lucky shot?
Yeah, it was definitely a lucky shot. I thought I was way closer than I actually was.
That's a long poke, even for somebody like us at our age for 22.
I think it took 2 or 3 shots. He didn't know what happened. I shot one way over, and then I shot one way right, and then finally Kentucky windaged it until I hit him.
Sure it wasn't a ricochet?
Very well could have been.
How often were you going out prairie dog hunting?
I'd go out once or twice a year. It's about a 3-hour drive out there, so.
And that's what a majority of your hunting was for a while?
Yes, and until I turned 12 when I could legally hunt deer.
Okay. So walk us through that.
So the first year we went out after a cow elk, and The day before the hunt, I came down with this massive cold, sniveling, throwing up, everything. Went out still, and I think it was 15, 20-degree weather. Tried to find these elk, and ended up having to be carried out on my dad and my hunting mentor's back. Just sicker, so sick I couldn't even walk at this point. My hunting mentor had this old Chevy pickup, step side, that he had me lay across all three seats just to get me warm and stop feeling sick for half a minute to walk to where we thought the elk were. Never saw an elk, nothing like that. But it was fun. I still think it was fun. It was part of the learning experience.
And your dad was going out with you guys even though
Yeah.
he didn't hunt?
Oh yeah, he didn't like it, but he had to technically join us because we didn't know the mentor didn't want to take me out, just me and him. So my dad technically had to join us at that point.
Your dad didn't like it, huh?
Yeah, he was rather be at home watching soccer.
I suppose the English boys.
Yeah, that's him. Um, but then the next year we went after mule deer. I finally drew a doe tag, and I remember got up there at 4:30 in the morning, slept in the truck till right at shooting light, and we walked down this little hill, and I think we're maybe 500 yards from the truck, and here comes two does. And another one of those lucky shot things. I closed my eyes just as I shot and hit this doe in the neck at 115 yards.
What were you using for a weapon?
Savage Model 99 and 243.
Was that a gun you borrowed?
It was actually a gift from my hunting mentor.
Really?
Yeah.
Still have it?
Oh yeah. It ain't going anywhere.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, isn't it?
I've been offered a couple $1,000s for it, and I'll still turn it down every time.
Why is it worth so much?
It's harder to find caliber of this model. It was made in 1975, so
Really?
yep.
Very cool. So keep walking us through kind of your early years of hunting and kind of how you got to be where you're self-sufficient.
So every year, me and Dad would go out. There's some private land nearby us that I ended up getting into bow hunting at this time. Around 13 to 16 years old, I started getting into bow hunting, and we started going out there. They have a extended buck season, so it runs all the way from the 1st of November all the way to the 30th of November. So you could shoot any buck as long as it's with your bow. We went out there, never got one. Missed one buck one year at 45 yards, something like that, spot and stalk. But they're wily. They are wily.
I'm sure.
Everybody's up there chasing them. Some guys hunt them with recurves. Other guys are shooting 100 yards with their compounds trying to get one. And I'm there in the middle, like, not really a recurve guy, but definitely not these long range compounders.
For sure. So and this was about 13 years old?
13 to 16, roughly.
Okay.
In that time, I also shot a mule deer buck with my rifle. My first buck was with a rifle. Little 2x3 muley. That was a fun one.
How'd that go down? Walk us through that story.
Well, we met my hunting mentor again up at the property, and right as I'm taking the rifle out of the truck, I drop it right onto the scope.
Really?
Yep. But it was only like we kind of thought it was gonna be okay because it now being smarter should have tested it. But I thought it was gonna stay on, be okay, and I missed two bucks earlier in the day. Learned where my hold was, and on the way back out to the truck, I heard a doe pops out with another buck, and I aim 3 feet low of his belly and 1 foot to the right at 130 yards just to hit this buck.
How did you know where you needed to aim after dropping the scope?
So luckily most of the bucks were on top of a hill we were shooting at. So I ended up seeing where my bullet was hitting and learning to compensate for that.
Okay. And were you kind of being walked through this through your mentor, or is this something you're figuring out at this age?
Yeah, he was like, "Oh, you're couple foot high. You got to aim low, and you're right now. So he was walking me through, and I wasn't great at spotting deer either. So with my buck, I remember him grabbing me by the head and going, "He's not over there. He's over here," and turning my head fully
Yep.
to help me see.
That sounds pretty awesome. So how many years did you hunt with him?
I hunted with him until I was 16. That was the final year when I could start driving and going by myself.
And you were ready to start going off on your own. Did you keep hunting with him occasionally?
Every once in a while we'd run up into each other at the same spots. He kind of did the whole pass down thing where it's like, hey, I'm kind of done hunting this area. It's now yours. He gifted me this public land and private land area.
Do you still stay in touch with the guy?
We lost contact a few years ago, and I've never been able to get in contact with him again.
Just because you moved, or what's going on?
He moved about 4 hours away, and then he changed his number, and he's never been a Instagram or a Facebook guy. So
That's too bad.
yeah, I'd love to see him and talk with him again and say thank you for all the things he did for me.
Yeah, that's pretty incredible that he went out of his way to take care of you like that.
At least I got a part of him with that rifle with me all the time.
Okay, so what was your first hunt solo that you were successful?
First successful solo was a pronghorn antelope in 2019. So it took 3 years of going solo to finally get one. I hooked up with a landowner out east and got permission to hunt pronghorn does last minute. Like last 2 days of season, I had to pick up a tag and run out there.
Really?
Yep. And I ended up getting a phone call from him because I got lost on his ranch. He has 15,000 acres plus of just land. And so he gives me a call. Where are you? I've got 300 antelope in my backyard right now. So I stalked in. I came around to his house, stalked in from the corner, and took a 300-yard shot with which dropped her in her tracks. Reloaded, and when I reloaded, there was a wounded antelope. So there had been a youth season week before, and some kid had accidentally nicked her in the back leg. It looked like, and she was limping, blood all over down it. And I tried to finish her off, but she stayed just out of my reach at that 400-yard mark.
Walk us through the first couple of years of going solo and walking away empty-handed.
So I'd go out, and I'd always hunt the same spots that my mentor taught me. Go out, and I'd see deer, but I didn't carry a rangefinder at the time. So I was always thinking, they're too far for me. I want to be closer. And by the time I got a rangefinder, I found out most of the shots I was telling myself were too far were roughly 150 yards, 200 yards. And so I'd belly crawl and they'd catch me. Or I'd lift my head up just a little bit too high above this grass, and these mule deer up there, so pressured during the seasons I'd hunt them, they'd run away. You wouldn't see them again. It was always weird to find that.
Did you have opportunities the first couple of years you miss, just couldn't seal a deal?
I had one or two misses on some small bucks and a doe here, but it was me overestimating the range. So I always think it was like 250, and I'd hold a bit too high with that 243, and I'd completely shoot over the back of them, or I'd just blow it right as I'm about to shoot.
Yep. We've all been there. Did you have any buddies in high school that were hunters?
A couple of them, not a lot of them, and we'd go out there together, and I always put my buddies before I would hunt. So I'd let them shoot the first deer because I always just wanted to spend time out there, as much time as possible.
Had you harvested a lot of animals up to this point when you're giving them the reins?
I'd only harvested 2 or 3 deer, but my thing was always extending my season as much as possible. Because if I go up there this year, I could probably get a deer within 1 day nowadays. I've learned them out. So I just wanted to spend as much time in the woods as physically possible.
And that went on all the way through high school?
Yeah, I got caught ditching school quite a bit to go deer hunting and elk hunting.
We've all been there, right?
Oh, I got in so much trouble one year.
What happened there?
I got invited out to Grand Junction, which is a 4-hour drive. We told my family on day 3 we were on our way back. Well, just so happens on the way back we found a herd of elk on public land, halfway home, and we called them back up. Yeah, I'm still ditching school. Uh, we found elk. We won't be home for 5 more days.
What'd the parents think of that?
I got grounded from hunting for about 2 weeks.
Okay, how'd that elk hunt go down?
Never got one. They ended up catching our wind. We camped too close to them. They caught our wind and moved on to the oil field private.
Okay, walk us through what it was like. You stopped, decided to stay a little bit longer. Walk us through how everything went down.
Um, so me and 3 buddies were up there. We had brought a pop-up camper that my buddy owned, and we had just finished never seen an elk in the western half of the state, right on the Utah border. We decided to go home because every hunter and their mom seemed to be out there. Um, so we on the way home we drove past this piece of public in Debec, it was called. I don't really want to give out too many more details of that, but
We're gonna have to wait till your clock's done.
yeah, I'm sorry about that.
You're good. So let's back up a little bit. So where you were on your way back and
Yeah,
came across some public with elk.
yeah, just right off the side of the highway, there was a herd of elk on some public land, and there was a couple really nice bulls in it in October still chasing cows. And I remember one of them happened to have my fancy because he was just a single 5 point that never grew one on his left side. And I always liked that weird goofy deer or goofy elk.
Yup.
So we found a camping spot nearby, which was ended up being way too close. Found their game trail, and I think they caught our scent on the way in because we thought they were bedding down here, but they ended up being bedded up on top of the mountain. And they caught our scent and never came in. And on the final day, as we're leaving, they came back out onto the public.
You were just going out, so you're there for a few days. Never really caught up to them.
No, because what we were doing was we'd get on this glassing knob and overlook all their routes and see if we could figure out how to plan it out to get to them before they got to the big open fields. And they never really came in. I don't know what happened between when we parked up and when we got there, but they never decided to show back up.
Were you even seeing them when you were glassing?
I think we saw one cow, which we all had bull tags as well, and she never even went down to the field. She went a complete opposite direction onto private land.
Yup.
They always know where that little border is for some reason.
They're pretty smart. They're pretty smart. And how old, like what year in school were you?
2017, so that would be sophomore junior year.
Okay. Then any other exciting hunts throughout high school?
Yeah, in 2018, I got to go on my mountain lion hunt, and that's where I got this guy behind me. So I had a neighbor in here that hunted lions with hounds, and we'd been going out, but I was never the trigger man. I was just the guy that helped find tracks and run around. And finally, at the beginning of 2018, he gives me a call saying, "You're trigger man. You're first on the trigger." I had let multiple cats go and decided to let him go bigger. Finally, he said, "You're enough now to, you know enough now to go out with me and chase a cat for yourself." So we get up at 1:30 in the morning, drive this road, and right there, pretty as a picture, is a cat track that big sitting there. We park the truck up and decide to sleep because you can't let your dogs out till legal shooting like here in Colorado. And we tree them. We set the dogs out. They ended up treeing him about 2 hours later. We thought he was going to be a Pope and Young cat, so sorry, not Pope and Young, Boone and Crockett. So we decided to do it completely by the book, Brooke Boone and Crockett, and follow the cat and the dog tracks directly. And we caught up to him, and we couldn't really tell what kind of a cat he was. It was too late in the day. It took us 12 hours plus to get to the cat.
Let's go through that. So, one, why'd you have to show up so early?
So there's a lot of different houndsmen in our area. So they all converge, and if you're not the first one up there on the mountain, you're not getting the tracks you want. They'll leave the kittens and the females for you, but the toms are all going to be chased after.
So you guys went out and found tracks. It's not something that he came across and he called you up.
Nope. I get up every time with him. If he's going, I have to be there with him.
And you find the tracks and you just kind of park there to
Hmm
lay stake to that set of tracks.
And there's two different ways to lay stake. Like you're saying, park the truck there, or you take off an item of clothing, you can put it next to the track on the road, and then you pee your name in the snow.
Interesting.
And it lets them know that this is a claimed track. You cannot claim this.
Has anybody else ignored it?
A few years later, we did have almost a fist fight over cats. Three different cats came into the same area, trying to breed one female, and there was almost a fist fight, because one guy was trying to claim all three tracks for himself.
Really?
Yeah, and
I'm so used to being in Iowa where you could mark tracks on one road and somebody might pick up the tracks on the other one. And maybe, do you ever run into that where people intercept the tracks and don't see you marked it?
mhm. So what we always do is that's why we always lay the shirt down first, and then do a quick drive around to any of the other roads in the nearby area. Make sure he hasn't crossed there. If he has, we lay another item of clothing down, go back, pick up the other one. And if that's whichever item of clothing is on the fresher piece of track is the one who owns the track.
Yeah. Sounds like a lot of he said, she said sort of stuff.
It does. And the guy that got almost in the fist fight was just throwing water bottles out the window, trying to claim tracks.
Really?
Yep. And we all called him out on it. There was about 4 or 5 different trucks there. And we said, a water bottle doesn't count. That could be just you being a litter bug, throwing out water bottles near a track for some reason. He fought on it, but we were nice. He found the track. We just gave him a different track. We just gave him the better track of all three of them.
You gave him the better track?
Yeah, we gave him the biggest male track, and he ended up shooting that other Tom. We just were training new pups. I'd already shot this guy, so we were just gonna chase the female to train the new dogs.
Okay, so let's go back to yours. So you laid stake to the tracks you wanted, and then you kind of just camped out there for a while?
Yeah, we had found them at about 3 a.m. So we slept there for three hours until we could let the dogs out.
Really?
Yeah.
And it took 12 hours to catch up with him?
Oh yeah, and what people don't realize is these hunts with dogs, these cats run. A lot of times, especially this guy, we know he jumped him pretty early, but he just kept running and jumping trees and stuff before we could get there.
What do you mean jumping trees?
So the dogs will bay him up underneath a tree, on top of a tree, and then he'll just jump out over top of the dogs and keep running.
Okay.
So
Sounds pretty intense. So walk us through the 12 hours from start to placing the shot.
So it's actually I had to take him on the next day. So I had to shoot. I left him after the first 12 hours, and I took him on the next day. We were hiking at about 2 foot of fresh snow, and we were all burnt out. And we'd gone, I think it was 9 miles that day, in just that fresh powder from the truck.
Walk us through that hike that came up empty-handed. Were you getting close to him? Did you ever lay eyes on him?
We did lay eyes on him. The biggest problem was we were constantly slipping down banks, and they live in rolling hills and over logs, and we were so burnt out we didn't even want to pack a lion out that day at the end of it. But we knew he was going to be, since he was just as tired as us, he was going to be in that same general area the next morning. So We got up there at about 4:30. We left him where there was no roads nearby. Got to him. He was about the closest road was about 2 miles from where he was.
Let's back up a little bit. Let's stay on this first day. So,
Yeah. Sorry.
are you just like nose down to the ground, looking at tracks, following them, listening to the dogs? Like 12 hours is a long time to track and barely lay your eyes on this thing. Like,
So we let the dogs. We followed the dogs. We had GPS as well. Follow the dogs a bit better, but we're also looking at tracks and we're constantly judging, making sure they're not jumping from one cat to a different cat. There's so many cats in our general area that at any point in time, cats could crisscross tracks, and now our dog is chasing a different cat that we don't want him to. So we're making sure the whole length of the way we're finding the right cat track.
are these dogs smart enough to know the track they started on versus another cat track?
They're not, I wouldn't say they're smart enough to do that, but they are smart enough to know which one's the fresher track. And they'll always choose that fresher track over the older track.
If they're on track to the one you want and a fresher track comes across, even though it's a lot smaller, they'll ditch the older one to get on the fresh.
Yes, every time.
Dang, that sucks.
Yep. So luckily that didn't really happen. They didn't run into any other cats, but the timber he was going through was a lot of deadfall. We had a big fire in the area in 2014, I think it was. Maybe a little bit earlier than that. I can't remember. And we're just crossing down logs and everything, which is really slowing your pace. And we do finally catch up to him in a tree. But by this time, we could not determine if he's the level of cat that I wanted. I've been hunting with him and trying to learn these cats, and I could not decide. He could not decide because he was in this tall pine with a lot of thick branches. So we decided to pass on him, let him jump out, and go find him in the next day in the same area.
Technically, you could have shot him on the first day.
Technically, I could have if I would have known he was the cat he was at that time.
So, how close were you when you decided to kind of ditch the effort and come back?
We were within 50 yards of him at one point.
Really?
Up in this tree, but it was, like I said, it was so thick that we couldn't ever really get a good look at his head to tell us that he was this good cat. So, and his tracks were very deceiving. He had a smaller track for what he was. He had like I think it was, I can't even remember his stride now, 34-inch stride maybe, and a really good cat is a 36-inch stride. So like I said, we decided to leave him and come back the next day. Hopefully he'd be in the same area.
I bet that must have been disheartening having to be within 50 yards and turn and walk the other direction.
Yeah, I'm thinking, oof, I should have just taken him, but
Cat's probably like, you suckers.
yep. So we get to wake up a little bit later since we know where the cat is in general area. And then, so we get up there right at shooting light, send the dogs off, and I think it took them only 2 miles that next day to catch this cat.
Hold on. Only 2 miles? It's a long ways, man.
That's a short distance for cat hunting.
I suppose.
We did, I think, 16 miles the first day and another 8 the next day.
Really?
Yep.
So this was the third day?
No. This is the second day.
Okay,
8 miles
go ahead.
total.
Yep.
So we catch up to him, and he's actually in a nice tree for this one time. You could see his whole body. We decided, yep, that's a stud cat. We guessed him about 180 pounds in the tree. So I used my buddy's handgun at the time. I'd never shot a handgun really before this day. And it was a little SIG 9mm at 15 yards.
Why a handgun?
Well, a lot of long distance hiking kind of means you need a good, just a handgun that's nice and light.
That's all you were carrying?
Yeah, that's the only thing we carry is a handgun.
Really?
Mm-hmm. These things are more scared of you than you are of them.
I'm not saying that, but you would think you'd carry a high power. I didn't know if you just got in a position where you were closer than what you thought, so you used a handgun instead of the high power.
We actually don't like using high powers because it knocks them out of the tree completely before they're dead. A lot of times our dogs are free on the ground or tied up to a stake really close to that tree, and if he comes out still alive, he's fighting your dogs, either killing them or tearing them up.
You stick a 9 mil through them, they hang on as long as they can, and then once they're done, they fall.
Or they'll jump out on their own power and be able to take off a lot faster.
And if they're jumping out, they're not going after their dogs, they're just trying to get out of there.
Yep. And they're usually done within 50 to 100 yards.
So walk us through the shot. Were you nervous?
I was shaking like a leaf, and you could, if I could find the video, you could see me just, I couldn't even take my gloves off right or anything. And I finally just hit that weird calm point, and I stick it, and I put 2 shots right behind the shoulder, just as perfect as could be.
Is 9 mil the go-to for cats?
It right now, no. Actually, right after this hunt, the next year they made it to where you need a higher foot-pounds of energy
So like a
for
10
canals.
or 44?
Yep, 10, 44, 45 ACP would be a good one.
Okay.
But the 9 mil was the only handgun we had between the both of us, so that's what we chose.
And so you shot him. What happened next?
Well, he comes down the tree. I try to take a third shot, miss him, and he takes off, ends up getting partial away up another tree and falls out and dead.
Were you shooting at him when the dogs were on him?
So the dogs were tied up. We go underneath the tree, grab the dogs, and pull them away so that they don't get too close.
Man, mountain lions sound like pussies.
They are. Um, every once in a while, you'll catch that one that has a little bit more of aggressive side than everything else, but normally they're pretty scared of everybody.
Did you listen to that podcast I told you?
Yes, I did. Jaguars are not just.
Jaguars sound a little bit different, apparently.
Oh yeah. Even at one point with this guy, I was probably 10 feet away underneath this tree.
Oh, they can be extremely dangerous. I think it's all about when you catch them.
Mm-hmm.
If you just happen to come across a mother and cubs, you're fucked.
Oh yeah, definitely. We've caught mothers with cubs, and they'll tear your dogs up more than anything.
Yeah. You don't hunt the females out there?
We're very selective on the females we shoot. My buddy that hunts cats knows almost every female in that general area, and he won't shoot them unless they are on their last legs about to die themselves.
How much time do you have to spend out there to get familiar with the mountain lions? They're so cautious about being seen.
Well, so he uses his dogs.
Well, he just happens to come across them when he's out hunting toms. Is that what they call the
Yep.
males?
Yep. So like I said, they'll split off from a tom track to go chase this fresher female track, and he'll go see that female and go, okay, I know you. You're probably 4 years old, 5 years old this year.
He can recognize them?
Oh yeah. A lot of cats have distinctive markings. And like this guy had a scar across his nose, so we called him Scar. We'd caught him 2 years earlier when he was a younger cat.
You mean, what do you mean caught? Treat him or what?
Treat him and let him go. It's the closest you could get to catch or release hunting.
I wonder how many times the average mountain lion out there has been treed.
Well, if my buddy's in the area, probably a good number, probably about 10 times.
God, it just makes you wonder. They have to get so educated after a while. I didn't realize mountain lions were getting pressured so much out there.
Not really pressure. He just does it to keep his dogs trained. He's only ever shot one cat for himself, but he does it to keep his dogs trained and take new people out hunting.
Hook me up.
I might, but we don't go hunting much anymore, me and him.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to do it. Occasionally you'll hear about one in Iowa, and that's when I don't want to see one, when I'm not expecting it.
Oh yeah, they're sneaky.
So is that one of the favorite hunts you've been on?
It's top 3, 100%.
Well, if it's top 3, that means you got 2 other ones.
Oh yeah. My number 1 was my eland over in Africa.
We'll jump to number 2. What's number 2?
Jump to number 2. Number 2 was my moose last year with my girlfriend.
Okay. Where was that at?
Here in Colorado.
from the outside looking in, you don't think there's moose, but apparently there's moose,
Oh yeah, there's a good number of them. I think they're up to 3,000 plus now.
which sounds like a lot to you. To me, it's like, doesn't sound like very many though.
Yeah. They had to reintroduce them, and they've been slowly, steadily growing.
So how'd that go down? Assuming your girlfriend found the moose and was nice enough to let you shoot.
No, actually, it was a really funny story. I'm gonna make a lot of Colorado hunters mad because I drew this moose tag my first year applying with enough preference points.
Speak English to the people that have never drawn.
So in Colorado for moose specifically and mountain goat and bighorn sheep, before you can even put in for a tag, you have to have 3 preference points for hunting.
And how do you get a preference point?
You just put in for a preference point every year.
So you can't buy multiple every year. You have to put in for 3 years.
Yeah, you have to put in for 3 years. And it costs $50 for each preference point. Well, this year I'd finally reached that lucky number 3 to where I could start putting in to at least try. And the average hunter in Colorado draws it anywhere between 6 to 8 for a female moose, cow moose. And I drew it with the bare minimum.
For cow or bull?
For cow. Bulls will take 24 years to draw.
Okay, that's so... What's the point of having preference points if somebody that has 3 preference points can get drawn over somebody that has 13?
So it's essentially a lottery. It's like pulling your name out of the hat. So a guy could be in there once and still draw it, and this guy be over here be at 24 times, has his name in there 24 times and still not draw it.
So every year you do it, you get an extra. So if you're at 3, you got 3 tickets in the hat. If you're at 10, you have 10 tickets in the hat.
Yes. And it's just the right number, the right day. Luck of the draw.
Sounds like you paid somebody off.
I see. Everybody says that. And they get mad that I drew it first year.
Oh, fill us in.
I drew that tag in May. And in June, I met my girlfriend. And she wasn't a big fan of hunting and wasn't sure about going with me. But I convinced her, luckily.
And how long were you guys seeing each other before you convinced her?
A month and a half.
I don't know who's more crazy, her or you.
I know. Luckily to introduce her to hunting in general, I took her out for a pronghorn hunt where I was helping a guy shoot his first ever pronghorn. And she found it really interesting, the butchering part of it. So I was like, okay, this is probably going to work out. She helped me butcher.
We'll come back to that. Let's finish this moose, but I want to hear about that too.
Well, we went up every weekend. We'd go up and hike for 10 miles, hopefully see a moose. If we didn't see a moose, we went back to the truck and went home and slept because I was doing work at the same time as I was hunting. And I'd get off at 1 a.m. and go to hunt at 3 a.m., 4 a.m. So we did that for 10 days over the course of a month and finally found a moose. So it was weird with the moose. We were glassing up at a different cow up on the mountain about 1.5 miles away. This cow walks over, like you could see her over the top of the line of the spotting scope. And I run, forget everything except for my rifle, and have to take a 500-yard shot off my knee.
Walk us through that again. So you're glassing a cow.
Yeah.
And catch another cow out of the side of your eyes, or was there only one cow?
So there's 2 different cows. The one up on the way mountain that we were just trying to plan a way to get to her at that time. And just as we're about ready to get up and leave to go chase this cow, here comes one way closer, about 800 yards closer. Or sorry, at about 800 yards. And you just see her over the top line of the spotting scope. I wasn't even looking for her. I was just looking at this cow. So I had to drop everything except for the rifle and run about 300 yards dead sprint before she could go into the dark timber.
Give us some more details, man. So you're running after this cow.
Yeah. And I have a weird thing. On this hunt, I carried my magazine for some reason outside of my gun.
I'm assuming you mean like a ammo magazine, not Playboy.
I carried my magazine definitely outside the gun, and I had to yell for my girlfriend to go run back and grab my magazine while I kept an eye on the moose so I could get a shot off.
What a dick.
I know. But she's still with me, so I'm lucky. And then she starts walking back towards me. I'm like, no, you gotta run. This cow's going. Luckily, she ran fast and got me the mag so I can shoot this cow at about 500 yards. And
Was it your 243?
no, I used so I progressed from the 243 to a 300 Win mag, and I have never seen something eat shots like a moose.
Yeah, I can see that.
She took 3 shots of 165 grain, 300 Win mag ammo, and ran completely straight uphill, no blood, and didn't even look hurt.
That's relatively small for a moose, you would think.
I get arguments about that I like to use these 165 grain bullets. And I mean, normally I could put them in the same spot every time out to 500 yards. And I could do it I could kill a moose with a 243 in Colorado if I got close enough.
And you could kill them with the 22, but nobody wants to be tracking for 2 miles.
That's valid. And that's a good truth statement. But I wasn't a big fan of the heavier bullets, how they shot out of my gun.
I used to have a smokeless muzzleloader that is shooting a 300 grain bullet at 3,000 feet per second. She wouldn't have made it 20, 30 yards with that sucker.
Oh yeah. Well, and I will say this, on this shot I did misplace. I misplaced it a little bit too far back. I misjudged the angle. I thought she was more quartered than she was. So I hit her a little bit too far back, more in the guts and the liver area.
And you and your girlfriend had to track her out. How long did it
Yep.
take you to track her without the blood?
So what I did was I decided to leave her overnight. It was the best course of action was to let her be calm and not push her all the way over, because we won't find her if we keep pushing her.
Unless you're pushing her closer to the truck, of course.
Yeah. Well, she was headed deeper up to where there was no trails, no
Oh.
roads. So we decided to leave her, and I guess where she was going was her safety zone. So the next day, the girlfriend had to go to work, and I went up there with my electric e-bike and went and looked around, and I ended up finding her tracks, and she did a half-mile loop and laid down in the same drainage that I shot her in out of, which was probably her safety zone. So she beds there every day.
And she was laying there?
Yep, dead as a doornail.
And you were able to get your e-bike clear out there?
Oh yeah. Luckily, where it was a heavily used trail system. I just rode my e-bike with its little trailer on the back of it all the way over there and hauled that.
How many trips did it take you to haul her back?
It took two-man trips, and not including the hide and head. So it'd be 3.
And were you experienced enough to open her up and quarter her out there?
Yep. So she was on a steep embankment. So I didn't end up tying her front legs up, and I did the gutless method on her just to take the quarters off and the back straps out.
You know all about the gutless method. I learned about it about 20 weeks ago on a podcast episode.
Oh yeah, that gutless method is no mess, easy. Just hack it and go.
For that situation, of course.
Especially since moose hide is so thick and the hair is so dense, you need to get that meat as cool as possible and not let it get in the sun.
It's not like you can grab this moose and tie her up head down in a tree.
Yeah. And she rolled over on top of me, ended up, because the one rope snapped holding her front leg up, and she rolled down the hill a little bit over top of me. Yeah. So
she was just trying to cuddle.
Yeah, just a little cuddle, but I was worried I was gonna be stuck underneath an 800-pound cow moose without any way out.
How'd you get out?
Luckily, I was able just enough to maneuver on the uphill side that she rolled completely off of me. It wasn't luckily a flat spot. If it was a flat spot, it would have gotten me.
That would have been a heck of a way to go out. Talk about revenge from the moose.
Yeah, that was one of the only times I've ever been scared that I might die in the mountain.
So I want to go back quick to this antelope. You were out Your girlfriend went with you,
Hmm.
or she just helped recover one?
So I work part time at a cattle ranch just for leasing rights. So I got a call from my boss asking me to help him help take out a guy that's never hunted an antelope before, and never hunted a any big game really. So we ended up taking out the muzzle loader. And I ended up asking if I could bring the girlfriend along to see if she would like even going hunting with me. Well, the guy that I was technically guiding at the time shoots this antelope, and my girlfriend decides she wants to hold the knife and help me butcher it.
Didn't bother her at all?
No, she actually liked getting the blood on her hands.
So did she just hold, or did she do any processing?
She actually used the knife and started cutting. She cut more than me that day because I was just pointing out where to cut.
Well, sometimes they just kind of like learning.
Hmm.
They're kind of inquisitive.
Oh yeah, and she thought it was really cool and fun to do.
Has she been hunting since?
Um, no, but we're planning. She's planning on taking her first deer this year.
And when was it that you started seeing her?
So I started seeing her in June of last year.
So what, year and a half or 2 years?
Just coming up on a year.
Okay, so it hasn't been that long. I was gonna say, it's the way you're talking, it's been a few years, and I'm like, man, you haven't gotten her out yet?
No, she just got her hunter safety this year and is going for a mule deer this year.
That would be pretty cool. So we went through, I know there's a couple more hunts we need to cover. We're at an hour, so we better get through these. So you said in Africa you shot your favorite hunt?
Yeah, that's my number one hunt of all time.
Why would that be your number one hunt?
So it was a 16-year dream for this one animal.
Oh, give me a break. What were you, like 20?
So I was no, my first. It was last year. Was my dream completed?
And you came up with this dream when you're like 8?
Yep.
Okay, walk us through it. So walk us through how you got to go on that hunt.
So my 2 years previous, I went on my first trip to South Africa. I had some success, but not a ton. And then I went to a Sportsman's Expo here in Denver, and I won a raffle with a single ticket for a free 7-day hunt in South Africa for one animal.
Are you kidding me?
Dead serious.
So you said one animal?
Yep. So it was a springbuck, but I could add any animal I wanted onto the package, and I just had to pay for the package.
Sorry, honey, we're eating ramen noodles for a few months.
Oh, I worked 2 jobs to cover that one.
Okay, so I'm sure that would have been a lot of sleepless nights leading up to that with excitement.
Oh, um, well, my previous trip was for this exact animal, and we never saw one.
And
So
was
I
that
was,
one paid for?
yep,
You paid for that first one,
yes, I did.
and then you came home empty-handed, and luckily you won another one.
Yes. And I still had to pay for the animal and everything else, a lot of different animals and the flights over there.
Oh yeah. So what did you come back with anything the first year?
Yes, I got Nyala, Impala, a blessbuck, and a steenbuck.
Impala, Shakala. Were they pretty straightforward hunts, or anything exciting happen?
Yeah, pretty straightforward. At that time, I developed a trigger flinch pretty bad because I'd scoped myself. So I had a couple misses while on that hunt off after my Impala. So I had to go through a whole retraining with a guy out there helping me lose my flinch real quick.
You missed a few times, huh?
Yep, I missed, I think, 3 Impala over the course of 11 days.
It's not like you walk out your back porch to catch up with them either.
The first trip, that's Steenbuck, so it's a part of the Tiny 10. They weigh 25 pounds to 30 pounds at most, and it's taboo. It's the most taboo hunt you'll ever go on in your life if you get to hunt one. You hunt them out of the bed of a pickup truck with a spotlight in the middle of the night.
Are they that nocturnal or what?
They're that nocturnal, but you can see them during the day, but it's the easiest time to hunt them. But coming from Colorado, I'm thinking there's going to be a game warden pops out any second, and I'm going to be getting written a ticket. But you can shoot anything over there in the middle of the night.
Yeah, I suppose.
So that was fun.
You were pretty disappointed on the flight home.
Yeah, especially since I didn't get the eland, which was the number one. Ended up having to trade my eland for my Nyala.
You just couldn't come across them?
No, it was they only had two on their quota limit for the rest of the season, and the two guys that I went with added their eland last minute after I told them about it and how awesome these things were, and both of them shot the eland before I could shoot the eland.
These are guys you knew?
Yep. Well, not new. They were just joining us on the trip. Let them have it. I got a better one.
But you didn't know you were going to come back.
Oh, I knew I was coming back. Africa is one of those places that you say you're going to go once, you end up going as many times as you physically can.
Physically can or financially can?
You could get loans, vacation loans.
Okay, so came home kind of empty-handed,
Yep.
and when you were putting your name in the raffle, did you have any chance? Did you think you had any chance to win?
It was a pipe dream. I talked with the outfitter of this hunt for 1 minute and actually had serious conversations with him. And he's like, for talking with us for over a certain amount of time, here's a free raffle ticket. Just put your name in and if we draw it, we'll let you know. And I was like, cool, not going to win, but I'll let you know. And I know I'm going to get put on your sign up list. And then I got the email on Sunday saying, congratulations, you won a free hunt in South Africa. 7 days, one in a springbuck.
They just do that so you buy all the other stuff.
Oh yeah, man, which was okay with me. It gave me excuse to go back over there.
Okay, so how'd the second trip go?
It was 10 times better than the first trip. We flew from Denver to Newark in New York and then all the way down to Johannesburg. Stayed overnight in Johannesburg. Flew then to Port Elizabeth. And at this point, it was like 24 hours of flying. And sighted in the rifle that night when we got into camp.
Are you taking your own rifle?
I bought a rifle specifically for this hunt.
How big are they?
1,600 pounds is a small one, or about average.
So the 300 Win Mag's not going to cut it?
No, that's what I used. 300 Win Mag.
Oh, okay.
With the 165 grain bullet.
They're that much bigger than a moose?
I can lay down next to them, stretch my arm all the way up, and I won't touch the tip of their nose.
What are they called?
Eland.
How do you
They're
spell
the
that?
world. ELAND.
Okay, yep, I know what you're talking about. So I'm just kind of curious. Out of all the animals in South Africa, why is that your number one?
I like how goofy they look. And like they're not like any other animal in South Africa in my eyes. The big dewlaps.
Remind me of a Brahmin bull.
Yep. Yeah, that's what I just fell in love with them when I first started getting into hunting. I found the video of a guy hunting one, and I wanted one ever since then.
So how'd that go down, that hunt?
So the original dream was to take one with my bow. And we spent all day of the first day stalking black wildebeest and eland with a bow, never being able to close the distance.
Yeah, you got an eland. There's something that looks, I'm not familiar with them. I need to look them up. There's something that kind of has similar stripes that looks a little bit smaller with more horn.
I think that's the Nyala.
Okay. So you gave up after going after him a while with your bow?
So that night, the PH came up to me and stated that you could either get a halfway decent one with a bow, or you could shoot an exceptional one with your rifle. Either or. And I said, cool, I'm putting down the bow and getting the rifle out. I'm not going home again without one. So that next morning we looked at, I think, a herd of 25, didn't find the right one. And then we found this other herd on the mountain right behind camp that we decided to put a stalk on, and there was a really nice bull that I took. So as we're stalking up the mountain, I looked down and I brought my mom on this trip. She'd always wanted to go to Africa. And she's watching me from base camp and waving at me every once in a while, making sure We close into 300 yards of this bull, and we just have to sit underneath a bush for over an hour because he's either covered up by cows or he's down in the drainage where you can't see him, and there's no way to get closer without busting them all out. So I'm sitting there, my heart was racing, and luckily that hour did happen because it helped me cool down and relax for half a second, or I would have probably jerked the trigger or something. He walks out. I put the first shot perfect, exactly right where I want it, right behind the shoulder, and then I reload, and my PH said, hit him in the spine. Shot him, hit him in the spine, dropped him, and he'd only gone 30 yards before expiring.
I was just kind of snooping, looking at the price list. Other than hippo and buffalo, they're the most expensive. Is there just fewer of them, or am I missing something with the demand on those?
So they are very hard to keep in so most of the hunting in South Africa is high fence, but on large acreage. And eland can actually, even at 1,600 pounds, can clear a 7-foot fence. So they're very hard to keep in a fence, or they'll just break through it. So that's where the money comes, is trying to help keep them on the property or revamp the herd.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, they're 4 times the cost of the most expensive impala.
Oh yeah, I think I got mine for $4,500.
So an impala is $800,000 roughly.
Yeah,
That ain't bad.
yeah, it was definitely worth it for me. And all the meat gets donated to the locals.
Did you help butcher this thing?
Oh yeah, it just looks like a cow hanging up a whole bull. Its leg will touch the ceiling, and its neck's hitting the ground.
How big is a world-class bull moose?
World class. Oof. See, I'm not a big moose hunter. I've only ever shot the one, and I'd say if you're going to like a Yukon moose, about 1,000 pounds.
How big can they get? Like, do they get up to 2?
They get up to 21, 22,
Oh my God.
especially if you get up there into like Cameroon and all of that, where the Lord Derby is. That's where the biggest ones live at.
That's enormous.
Mm-hmm.
What's a water buffalo weigh?
They weigh about the same as a Cape buffalo, if not just a hair smaller.
Oh my God. What's a hippo weigh?
Those are about, I think, 6,000 pounds.
Okay. That's a lot of whitetail, man. That's like 8 whitetails in one.
Yep. The best meat in the world is eland, though.
Is that all you got on the second trip?
No, I got black wildebeest, eland, another impala, a kudu, and a springbuck.
How much of that came home with you?
Oh, so I'm still waiting for the trophies to get back. They get mounted. I mount them over there because it's a lot cheaper. And then the meat you actually can't bring home.
Yeah, I figured that much. I just didn't know if you were bringing the cape and skull back, because that's almost damn near as much as the hunt itself. Half the cost.
The eland is a pedestal mount, a wall pedestal. And then all the rest is on a skull plaque. It's a mass-size shield skull plaque. And it's about $4,500 to get that done.
The only thing you're getting shoulder mounted is the eland. Are you bringing the capes back?
Some of the hides we're bringing back. My mom also shot a zebra and an impala while on the trip with me.
Okay, I'm starting to get questions. First, the age-old question. You mentioned zebras.
Mhm.
Are they black with white stripes or white with black stripes?
I think they're white with black stripes.
Are you sure?
I think. I'm not good with them.
What color is their nose?
Black.
And my guess is black with white stripes.
Yeah, but I do see more white on them than black.
Wonder who's right.
Yeah.
Listeners, we'll do a reel, see who's right. Is a zebra black with white stripes or white with black stripes? Or black with white stripes? Did I say the same thing 3 times?
I think you did.
Is zebra black with white stripes or white with black stripes? Or maybe they're black with white stripes or black with white stripes. I don't know.
But I will say this, zebra does taste good.
That's what Samir was saying.
But to me, it still doesn't hold a candle to eland.
Really?
Oh yeah, eland is a lot like a piece of beef, a little bit gamey, but even at 10 years old, like my bull, it's tender, fork tender.
No kidding. I can't remember what he said was it the water buffalo that he shot that said it was like as good as any beef he's eaten? That can't be right, is it? Yeah, it probably was. So did you get anything shoulder mounted the first trip?
So I got my Steenbuck, the little tiny 10 animals shoulder mounted. Everything else was skull mounts and hides.
I was gonna say, at least bring the hides back in case you come across a lot of money and you want to get it mounted someday.
We did like rug style mounts.
Okay.
We liked them to use them on the backs of furniture and on the floor in front of the fireplace.
So your mom shot stuff, huh?
hmm So she just started getting into hunting after I showed her about how selective hunters can be and the ethics behind hunting and stuff like that. She decided she wanted to try
What do you mean? I thought hunting was all about just killing animals for fun.
it. That's what she thought. She thought we were just bloodthirsty and wanted to kill everything that walked in front of us. And I had to explain to her the conservation behind it and why we hunt and what I wanted to do with hunting.
Very cool. She hooked now?
Uh, she says she's done. She's got four animals now under her belt, so she's done.
Did she get any taxidermy mounts?
No, she just did hides. She wanted a zebra rug real bad.
Would be pretty sweet. Okay. Yeah, it sounds like a pretty good trip. That's my goal, to get out there. I don't know if I'd probably start off with South Africa. I'm not ready to jump in pure Africa jaguar country yet.
Well, if you want to go with us in 2030, me and the girlfriend are going back out there for buffalo with a bow.
The water buffalo.
Yep, the Cape buffalo with a bow.
Looking at the price list, what else what would it be? A water buffalo. Yep. Maybe a warthog. Warthog might be more in my budget. Actually, probably a vervet monkey. Or what else? What else?
Hyrax.
Jackal, black back jackal, free.
Those are cool.
What else is free? Springbuck's pretty cheap. Bushbuck, blessbuck. A lot of different types of bucks out there. What's the difference between a buffalo and a water buffalo?
So Cape buffalo are from Africa, and then water buffalo are actually from Asia.
Okay, I think he just shot a regular buffalo.
Okay. Cape buffalo or a bison.
A Cape. It was in Africa.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
He said it was like a Daka boy or something like that.
Dugga boy.
Dugga boy. Yeah.
Yeah. Old loner bull.
But there's two of them.
Yeah. Dugga boy. I think it's Swahili for mud bull or something like that, because you always find them covered in mud.
And they're pricks. Which ones are the aggressive ones? The water buffalo?
The Cape buffalo.
Are they?
Yeah, they're deadly.
Says who? I could take one.
So one of the PH's professional hunters that I was with while over my last trip had actually had his arm broken. He's that famous video of the buffalo coming around the bush and breaking him.
Dude, this is so crazy because a couple episodes ago, the guest was talking about a guy he knows that got cornered by a moose, and the moose ran through the tree to get to him. I'm like, God, I've seen videos like that. He's like, it's probably the same guy. And he sent me the video, and it was the one that was blown up on Instagram. I'm like, wow, small world. So I think we're running a little bit long, but you mentioned one other story that you got to share before we start wrapping this up.
Which one are we talking about?
Yeah, well, you got time for one more. And if I don't like it, I'll tell you. So what's it about?
Ooh. Charged by a bear.
That's the one.
So I got invited on a bear hunt in 2021 over on Western Slope.
Okay. Who are these guys you're hanging out with? Because I need friends like this.
I just find them. I go to sporting goods stores and we just start talking.
Sure, it's not on Craigslist or something.
No. But it was only a quick 3-day hunt. And
hold on for a second. Which eland did you kill? There's 3 of them, or 2 of them.
I killed the common.
The Cape?
Yep.
Okay, the Livingston's the one that's really expensive.
Oh, look at the Lord Derby. That's 40,000.
Oh, what? Lord Derby?
Mm-hmm. Just a heads up, the clock's about to ring.
Is it on the list?
No, you have to go all the way up to Cameroon for them.
Well, that Jaguar smear cat couldn't have been very cheap.
I found one of those for about 30 grand.
Yeah, listening to his story is probably worth every penny, though.
Oh, yeah.
I gotta look to see what I would shoot.
Look at the King's Wildebeest. That'd be a good one. Expensive but good.
Oh, what's this one? Oh my god, that thing's got a giant neck. Okay, I'm looking now. A kudu. Kudu would be pretty cool.
Yeah, I got one of those.
The picture I'm looking at, it looks like a rotten white, like just giant neck.
Mm-hmm.
Gems buck, they're kind of okay. What'd you say, Nyala?
Nyala.
They're kind of okay.
What I normally do is I actually book cull packages. So they're the animals that they want to get rid of because they're genetically not what they want in their herd.
Okay.
So, or they have like a broken horn or something like that, and they sell them for really cheap. The kudu I shot had a broken horn on his left side, or sorry, his right side, and I paid only $900 for him.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I gotta look at this quick. Kudu would be top of my list. Waterbuck, Sable, The Nyala, that picture looks pretty cool. Gemsbuck, yeah, cool, but wildebeest, they're cool, but fallow deer, nah. Warthog, just to say I did. Impalas can't. Oh, they're tiny, 130 pounds. Blessed buck, mountain reed buck, that's what I want. Not much to them. Spring buck, that's like an antelope.
Tiny though, really tiny.
I don't know if I'd get much out of shooting a giraffe.
So I've always told myself if I'm going to shoot a giraffe, it has to be the right situation.
Kind of like Samir shot the hippo.
Yeah. Like either this bull is absolutely ancient, he's killing other bulls or just not allowing other bulls to breed, or he's injured and I need to put him down.
Okay, Cape Buffalo would be pretty the
Well, yeah.
Their own antelope, that's not bad. But yeah, I don't know, like a trophy kudu would probably be at the top of my list.
Yeah, I never had the inkling to go after kudu really. The reason I shot mine was I heard there was a broken horn one middle of my hunt.
I think things would change pretty quick if I went over there. So let's go through this bear story.
So we're hunting out west, and me and this buddy of mine, we'd only hunted one other time before this, and so I'm still trying to feel him out, see how he hunts, and it gets down to the second to last day, and this bear, we spot him at like 1,000 yards,
What kind of
running
bear?
towards us. Black bear,
Black bear.
but it was with a cinnamon coat. It just absolutely perfect, no rub marks. And he comes running from about 1,000 yards and stops at 175. But he's in such thick oak brush I couldn't get a rest. So I shot right over top of his back, and he takes off uphill. I jump this little fence, and I'm looking out in this distance for the bear to be running across the opening. And my buddy, who's right behind me, goes, "He's right there." I'm looking still, and I can't see him. Next thing you know, this brush is moving, and he's 15 yards in front of me at a full-blown charge. I go to close the bolt on my rifle, and my rifle jams right when I needed it most. Well, my buddy draws his 357 snub nose, and he's perfectly in line with me, so he has to lean out from behind me and shoot past me to get to this bear. And luckily he did, because he stopped it at about 5-10 yards, roughly. And sadly, it wasn't a drop shot where he dropped. The bear took off after being hit once, and we never found him. It rained that night, and there was no blood to be found the next day.
That's got to be pretty rare for him to charge.
It is, and I think what it was I blocked his full-on escape route, and he had no time to make another choice. It was either go through me or try to find another way out.
So he wasn't in attack mode. He's just like, get out of my way.
I still think he was coming full out to come and get me. Because he was direct line, and he would have definitely torn me to pieces before he ran off. Probably not killed me, but he would have chewed on me quite a bit.
You could see it in his eyes.
Yeah. When you can see the white ring around a bear's eye as it's coming at you, I think that's a bit too close.
You sure he just wasn't wanting you to scratch him or something?
If he wasn't letting me know. He wasn't wagging his tail.
You didn't give him a chance, though.
I didn't want to give him a chance.
All right, man. You got some good stories, but we better wrap this up.
Okay.
You familiar with the rapid fire? All right. First time listeners, rapid fire, 5 or 6 questions here. Just quick answers. Pretty fun getting different opinions, but the best hunting gear purchase you've ever made.
My really nice frame pack.
What kind is it?
It's a old school Cabela's, just the frame, and I pack so much meat out on that.
I have to look into that. The most gimmicky hunting purchase you've ever made.
The butt out tool.
You don't like the butt out tool?
It's gimmicky, but I'm not gonna say it doesn't work. It feels gimmicky to me. I could use it with my knife and do just the same job, I think.
Yeah, a lot of times you don't get them to work very good anyways. Hunting luck versus skill breakdown percentage.
I think it's in Colorado. It's 60% skill and 40% luck.
Most controversial hunting hot take.
I don't think I have one, honestly.
Nope. Not letting you off the hook. Something you are a diehard believer about, but other people might think you're crazy.
Spending a lot of money on a hunt is okay, as long as you're having fun.
Tell that to your girlfriend. Most underrated hunting tactic.
Run and gun.
Anything in specific?
Just not fast, but a good speed through some thick trees and pushing deer out into the opening in front of you.
Very good. Very good. Well, let's wrap this up with some embarrassing stories.
Most embarrassing one for me was I had a buck and I had fallen asleep under a pine tree, and I had a buck and doe walk into 125 yards. And I woke up and my rifle's over here and I couldn't even reach it until I spooked him and let him run off.
Oh, we've all been there.
Yeah. That's probably my most embarrassing one, I think.
At least you woke up. When I was younger, I had it was real cold and windy and they were pushing deer by us, and me and my brother were like huddled down on a driveway, and apparently the deer ran right between us and we didn't even lift our heads.
Actually, I take mine back. I got a good one.
Does it involve poop?
No.
Most do, but go ahead.
I went out with a buddy of mine on an elk hunt, and he was the hunter. I was just a spare part. And we'd fallen asleep in his pickup, and he pretended to wake me up right as we're about to hike in, to be getting dragged out by a bear or something from the truck, and I'm freaking out in the passenger seat, going from dead asleep to something just killing a buddy of mine. Freaking out, screaming my head off, falling out the back of the truck, running down the road.
How old were you when this happened?
15.
Did he have it on camera?
No.
Dang it.
I'm so glad he didn't.
I got similar stories to that, but yeah, that's probably something he doesn't let go.
Oh, he does that every time we go out. He'll find a new way to try to scare me.
That's how you know he's a good friend, man.
Oh yeah, he's a great guy.
All right, man. Well, I got to run. It's been a lot of fun. I appreciate you hopping on and sharing your stories.
Thank you for having me.
All right, we'll be in touch, buddy.
All right, thank you.